Good evening. Tonight I'm going to be talking to you about raising pet snakes. I'm not about to go out and buy a snake for a pet. I mean, I may have faced a few fears in my life, but I'm not insane. These are the words of actress Kristen Davis, and truthfully, this is how a lot of people think when it comes to owning a snake as a pet. I've had pet snakes for a couple years now, and to me they're some of the most amazing creatures I've ever encountered. They're beautiful and interesting, but some people think of them as slimy and dangerous. Today I'm going to explain to you why snakes are not only fun to raise, they're also rewarding to raise. Hopefully I can inform you on some of these creatures and help you understand them better. Choosing a snake. Choosing the best snake for you. Some good beginner snakes are ball pythons or corn snakes. Picking the best snake that's suited for your experience level. If you have a snake if you buy a snake that takes a lot of care or a lot of experience and you don't have a lot of experience, you're not going to do well with the snake. So get a good beginner snake such as a ball python or a corn snake. You need to choose a snake that you can provide a proper home for. Some snakes grow very large, and if you cannot provide a proper home for them, you don't need to get a snake that grows 15 feet. You need to do research. According to the ball python manual, one of the best snakes to start out with is a ball python because they're very docile and they only grow to about 5 feet. Choosing housing for your snake. According to snakecare.org, your snake should have a house that's as natural as possible. This means putting leaves, branches, hiding spots, and anything else that will make your snake feel like he's in part of his natural habitat. You can use an aquarium or terrarium for your snake. I use a 55-gallon fish aquarium. It works good for my snake. He likes it. You could also build a cage for your snake, but you have to be cautious about this because you have to build a cage that's secure and one that's big enough for your snake. Next thing you want to do is choose a proper substrate for your snake. Now this is the floor. Repti bark or aspen snake bedding make a nice substrate. What you don't want to do is use cedar because it's harmful to snakes. It's poisonous to them, so don't use cedar. The main thing you want to worry about as far as your housing goes is choosing a secure enclosure for your snake. Whether you have to use locks, I have a screen top, anything to keep your snake secure and in its enclosure because they're wild animals and they will try to escape. If they can get their head through, they're gone. So make sure you have a secure enclosure for your snake. Things that are vital to the health of your snake. One of the main things is heat. Your snake has to have heat to survive. So whether it be heat lamps, a heat mat, however you do it, you need to provide a certain temperature and humidity level for your snake. The next thing they need is water. Every living thing needs water. Snakes are no exception. So make sure you have them plenty of fresh water. Food. They have to eat, and we'll get into the feeding process in a minute. And the last thing is hiding places. They like to feel secure. I have a big rock that my snake goes under. He enjoys it. It makes him feel safe. It makes him feel secure. So make sure you have plenty of hiding spots for your snake, especially ball pythons if you have one. The next thing we're going to talk about is feeding your snake. The first thing you want to choose is whether you're going to feed live or you're going to feed frozen. According to ballpython.care.com, the most difficult part of taking care of your snake is to feed them. I can attest to this because I've had a lot of trouble from my ball python when it comes to eating. Sometimes he won't eat, but that's alright. Some snakes won't eat frozen rats. However, frozen rodents are healthier because they don't have parasites. And they're healthier for your snake overall. And plus, if you stick your hand in, you won't get bit because they don't associate movement with food because you're feeding them pre-killed mice. And the next thing is eating issues. Your snake may not eat every time you try to feed it. So please don't get alarmed. They can go months without eating. Be patient. If your snake's hungry, your snake will eat. Some common misconceptions that people have about snakes. Snakes are mean, vicious animals. This is not true. Most snakes are docile animals and will only bite if they feel threatened. Show them respect and they will not bother you. Snakes are slimy. Actually, snakes are very dry creatures, and after they've shed, they're very smooth. And the last thing and most common misconception is that snakes are easy to care for. They're not easy to care for, but if you work at it, you'll have no problem raising a healthy snake. You just have to have patience, patience, and more patience. Snakes can be the most fun and best pets you've ever owned, or they can be the most difficult pet you've ever owned. It all depends on you as the owner and how you take care of it. As long as you provide adequate shelter, water, heat, and everything it needs to survive, and keep an eye on its overall health, then you're doing your job as the owner. Remember, these are animals, and they're not always going to act the way you think they should act. But with a little practice and patience, you should be on your way to being a successful snake owner. Does anybody have any questions? No? Alright, thank you for listening.